Yeah, it's ridiculous. So
I got so enthralled up the stairs, I forgot to come down here.
All right, it's 5:30. Appreciate everybody being here. We have our pre-meeting work session for our meeting that starts at 6 o'clock. We will have a presentation on Rebuild Alabama Act funds, FY24 report. Carl, are you doing that for us? Finance is doing it, okay. With Carl's support.
I'll be here for more support.
All right, and then presentation, the mayor will have after that. Next on the agenda, approval of minutes. There were no changes. Any questions? Resolutions. Resolution 25001, approve amendment to the power contract between TVA and the city of Decatur. No changes. Any questions? Resolution 25002, approve an amendment to contract TV 48555A between TVA and the city of Decatur. No changes. Any questions? All right, resolution 25003, approve a supplement to the power contract with TVA to remove electric rate schedule TDMSA. No changes. Any questions? Resolution 25004, approve reclassifying job classification for communication specialist to communications manager. Any questions? Resolution 25005, approve street engineering department motor grader. Any questions? Resolution 25006, award bid for Wilson Morgan Recreation Center project to Core Construction.
I don't have any changes.
Okay, any questions? All right, we'll get started at 6. Call meeting to order. Jeremy Sherrill will lead us in our invitation and pledge.
Can we please bow? Precious Lord, we love you and we recognize your lordship. We recognize your goodness and mercy everywhere. It is visible and is tangible, and we pause today to say thank you. We also step into a new year and out of an old one, and we're seeking your wisdom and your grace as we do that. Guide us and lead us, and let us submit to your leading and guidance. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Jeremy. Roll call. Here. Here.
Jackson.
Here.
McMaster.
Here.
Pepper.
Here. All right, first item on the agenda is presentation, the Rebuild Alabama Act Funds FY24 Annual Report. Dawn.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Dawn Roniker with the Finance Department. This is a report that is required to be presented every January regarding our Rebuild Alabama Act funds. This does not include any of the Rebuild Alabama Act is for resurfacing road and bridge projects. And this does not include any of the other funds, any of the other gas taxes that we receive, or any other funding sources for road and bridge projects. This is just our Fund 6. This act was enacted in 2019. It was the first fuel tax increase since 1992 for the state. It began as a 6-cent increase, and it was gradually 2 cents were added each year until it became a total of 10 cents. The tax is calculated on fuel units, not the price per gallon, and ALDOT uses the funding in 3 ways, which is economic development, construction relief, and providing grants to Alabama cities and counties. There are 2 grant programs that they run with this funding. One is RAA, which is Rebuild Alabama Act Annual Grant Program. In 2023, you can see there in your handout that there were 41 project awards totaling over $10 million statewide. The grant award maximum per project is $250,000. And then the second is the one that the city of Decatur has benefited from, which is our A-Trip 2 grants program. In 2023, statewide, there was $40 million that was awarded. The grant award maximum is $2 million, and I'll talk a little bit more about our A-Trip 2 awards in a moment. The non-grant funding, which is the part of this requirement of this report, you'll see on, I believe it's page 4 of your handout. I'm sorry, we were supposed to have a PowerPoint, and we're having technical issues tonight. Also, I have the city engineer, Carl Pruitt, with me in case you have any technical questions about any of the projects. You'll see there on the left side what the budget numbers were. We forecast $400,000 in excise taxes, and it came in an unaudited number at this point in time of $452,252.83. We did have a little bit of fund balance left over, which was rebudgeted, as you recall, and we did budget $457,110.65 for various road projects shown on the next slide. We do anticipate, again, this is an unaudited number of about $104,601 left in our fund balance. We will revisit that at mid-year when we identify more projects that need to be done. But the next slide contains all of the projects that were paid for out of that fund. I won't go into detail about that, but those are the amounts that were budgeted are on the left, and the actual amounts that were paid for those projects were on the right. We do have 2 of those projects, the Chapel Hill Road and Thomas Drive overage, that was split. That cost was split among our gas tax fund sources. The last 2 slides are 2 grants that the city received to do 2 different projects. One was the intersection improvements on Beltline Road at Sandlin and Central. The award was $1,790,990.43 with a matching city funds of a little over $308,000, and that budget was a little over $2 million. That project is for the most part complete, but the state has not signed off on and finalized that project yet. And lastly, intersection improvements at Highway 67 and Upper River Road with a total budget of over $2 million. The grant award was $1.534 million with matching city funds of $495,000. Again, those grants are funded by this Rebuild Alabama Act and applied for and awarded as such. And if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer you. And if you have any questions about the projects themselves, the resurfacing that was done in this fund, Carl is here to help with that.
All right, any questions? Those specific road projects are part of a broader, much broader kind of allocation that we set in the budget, but we use, like you said, I just want to make that clear. That
Yes, there are
just the
several
department's
funding sources for resurfacing projects. This is just one of the funds, and it's that by legislative act, it's required that we report on this fund to you every January.
which was just 457.
457 was budgeted, 454 and 9 was spent.
Yeah. All right, any other questions? Thank you. All right, next, the mayor has a presentation.
I do. I have a certificate of appreciation that I want to read first, and then, because of the way that we're set up, and then I'll come down and actually present the certificate of appreciation. And it reads, whereas David Breland has been an integral part of the Parks and Recreation Department for over 12 years, working in the historic museums, and whereas these years have been marked by dedicated service to the citizens and visitors alike to our community, and whereas his sphere of influence has extended outside the museums into various service clubs and community programs, and in every case, making a definite contribution to community improvement. And whereas David Breland has earned the affection of museum visitors and co-workers alike with his enthusiastic and energetic knowledge of history, and not to mention his infectious laugh. Now therefore, I, Tab Bowden, as mayor of the city of Decatur, and on behalf of the city council and all of our citizens, to hereby present this certificate of appreciation to David Breland as a testimonial to express our sincere gratitude for his distinguished service to the community, and extend our best wishes to him on his retirement for his success and happiness in all future endeavors. Okay. Judge, will you make me out front here? All right. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And there you go.
Thank you so
We
much.
appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. We know that you're a long ways from retirement.
That's correct.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. I'll send it to you.
It's always an honor to serve this city. Thank you for all that you do, and it's been my life's work, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll move into our agenda-related public comments. First on the list is Andrea Hoffmeyer-Wilson. You may have to, I think Judge accidentally swallowed it.
Yeah, I know, I'm not that magical. Can I just talk on the one?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Can you hear?
You get your 4, so you can address whatever items you got.
Oh, okay. So I have to combine them?
Yes.
Oh, dang it. I'm not that magical. So the first thing I have, and I have to truncate it. First of all, Happy Epiphany. I'm theme dressing here. That's the Three Kings from Orient are. The first thing that I wanted to mention is that related to meeting minutes, and I can only talk about can I talk about the other thing later?
Yeah, in your public comments, you can.
So on the 16th of December, we made an amendment to Ordinance 24-4600 about fireworks. And we amended it to make exceptions for novelties. My question here is, what is the point of making these amendments if the remaining ordinance is not followed or enforced? So I'm not here to throw zinger questions at you guys. I'll be actually submitting the required form to get some information on how many confiscations and citations were issued on New Year's Eve. Now, the thing is that it's very predictable when this lawlessness is going to happen. So we had New Year's Eve coming up. We're going to have Cinco de Mayo, and then we'll have July 4th. Those are the biggies. It's also really astounding, based on social media posts, the volume of residents who are unaware that explosives are illegal in the city limits, and that's just based on the number of comments. They say, so now they're going to make it illegal unless you have a permit. Well, it's been illegal. So that's on a related note. Can I speak about the communications thing separately?
Yeah,
oh, yay, that's so exciting. Thank you. So this is not a new thing. All that was done from minutes on the 16th is that we made an amendment that novelties are allowed. But the thing is that we need an awareness campaign, and we need a bilingual awareness campaign. And consequences must be clear of what happens if the remaining ordinance that's in place is broken. So there needs to be planning for patrol, confiscation, and citations. As many of you know, my front yard Great Pyrenees escaped due to fireworks fear, and I'm so grateful that our story ended in elation rather than tragedy, which I'm sure you'll be hearing about. Jacob, thank you for searching for Ginger even after she was found. Now, while I've spoken about the 14 points of management by Demings, and the 8th point of drive out fear, I also believe that Machiavelli's assertion that the first clean kill awakens the herd is valid in this case. You see, you do not have to conduct 100% enforcement. Randomized enforcement sends a clear message to the herd. That's randomized, not selective. So we need a communications plan for people to understand what is allowed and what is not allowed and why. So that's all that I will say about that, except for the fact that what I have noticed, and I could be wrong, is that the discharge of illegal fireworks, that's not where it ends. There are also bullets fired into the air. I know the difference between fireworks and bullets because I grew up hunting. And growing up, my dad would never let friends or family handle explosives or firearms while under the influence. So that's all I have to say about that.
Mr. Faruqi.
Okay, the minutes. There was some discussion in the minutes about a policy on city employees' use of vehicles, and I sent a majority of you a copy of what the FOIA request was for whether or not city employees could use their vehicles. Do you all agree with that? Are you aware of the policy, Mayor? Okay, because there is no policy, just so you're aware of it. Jacob?
I did see your email, yes.
Do you agree with the response?
That there is no written policy.
Should there be a policy?
Typically, there's, and I don't know, in my case, where I've worked, there's been policy around things like company-owned vehicles, but I am for, I guess to get to your longer point, I do think I'm for giving responsible employees a work environment where they can, that are ethical people can make those decisions, and I'm not looking over their neck all the time, so I would say that.
Mr. Jackson?
I do believe that there needs to be.
You can turn the time off, Jacob.
It's
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
I do believe that there needs to be a policy in place that actually relates to whether or not a person uses that during business hours. It should not be. They should not be used during. For personal use. But I think your example in the email that you sent to us referred to a person who was using his vehicle during business hours, went to the gym, I think, at lunchtime.
Before lunchtime.
Okay, well, whatever time it was, but it was during his day. So I don't know that we should get to the point where we're restricting those things, because that's, then he's got to come back, get his vehicle, and that is that's impactful on our budget as well. So I do think that there needs to be a policy based on personal usage, but I do think that what your example was not a good one for me, in my opinion.
Did you read the email?
I did.
And you have any comments?
No, I would agree with them. Do I think we could use a policy? Yes. Do I think it needs to be, extremely strict? Probably not. You would trust the people. I think to Mr. Jackson.
Trust until verified. That's a common thread.
Okay.
I'm going to start the clock.
Carlton, do you have any comments?
Yeah, kind of echo what.
Well, you didn't read it, so you wouldn't know.
I saw it.
Okay, you saw it as it popped up, but you didn't read it. Thanks. On the communications director position, a couple of things. First off, I highly recommend, before you vote on this and add things like journalistic requirements, or that'd be a nice thing to have, look at the definition of what a public affairs officer is and what they do, and that is more in line with exactly what we need to have for this city. Because the PAO is responsible for managing the flow of information to the public, the media, and own organization. They develop communication strategies to ensure information is accurate, nice, and effective. Serves as a media point of contact. PAOs are the primary point of contact for the media, both nationally and internationally, or locally. They respond to reporters' questions, arrange interviews, and conduct news conferences, all of which we probably need to have before the release of this new information from Green. They issue news releases, articles, speeches, and other information. They develop working relationships with reporters and other media representatives. They maintain community relations programs and keep in contact with other government agencies. This is what we need. And with a lack of defining what we need, voting to assign these responsibilities to the new person might be too much at this point. Similarly, the PAO position, that it's not it looks like we're basically making that position the answer to all of our problems. And over the weekend, or excuse me, last week, Mayor, I saw you on one Facebook post arguing with protesters outside, needlessly, telling them to move a memorial. Do you remember that? Okay. Well, that's where a public relations person probably might help, or a public affairs officer might have helped. And in the military, you as a leader are the PAO of your organization. You speak volumes whenever and if ever you open your mouth. And that applies to all of you here in the dais. Do I still have a minute? Okay. Other agenda item, we've got the pool, or excuse me, the Wilson Morgan Park on the agenda. When did that show up?
We added it at the end of last meeting with the request and purchasing.
Was it, so it wasn't voted on at that point, it'll be voted on today?
That's right, we don't vote during the work session.
Will it be voted on today?
Yes.
Okay, because that was the first time I saw that. Now, Parks and Rec Director, Mr. Lake, made a comment that he wanted to get public input on those things. Before we approve a budget or a bid for a budget of something that, to the best of my knowledge, we don't even know what it's going to look like on the inside. Maybe we need to do a squat hold, maybe postpone this bid acceptance until such time as we have had public discussion on what we're buying for whatever amount of money we're going to get. That's all I've got. Thanks.
Terrence? You just get 3 minutes for agenda items at the beginning. 4 minutes, sorry.
All of them?
If you can fit them all in the 4 minutes, yeah, or one, just however long is for agenda items.
Could I speak on the one other one?
You can in the public comments.
I'm up to talk about the minutes from the last meeting. I feel as though they need to be a little bit more extensive because what I did last week was come and talk to City Council about the concerns of District 1 and the lack of wherewithal from the people on the dais to do anything about the concerns of District 1. And I needed it to be properly noted that Ty Opinion is not reaching out to the City Councilman for District 1 for this meeting, and also other members of the City Council have not reached out to him or been able to get in contact with him. And I wanted to make this statement now because, Tab, you're here. And it's about 12,000 people that live in District 1 that are having concerns with the Decatur Police Department as well as the chief. This has grown outside of Steve Perkins and supporters to the whole city because this is a public safety concern. And with you being the chief executive officer of this city, there needs to be something done. Our liaison to the police department has not given us any updates. Todd is not meeting with us. So at this point in time, what else do we have to do? Like, the city is in shambles. So what are we going to do moving forward as far as Ty Opinion and the concerns of the citizens in District 1?
Thank you, Terrence. All right, we will move into our agenda now. First item, and we'll take A, B, and C together. We have a motion by Mr. Pepper. Second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
A, B, and C are approved 5-0. D. So moved. Motion by Mr. Pepper. Second. Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Jackson.
Abstain.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
D is approved 4-0 with 1 abstention. Next we have resolutions. Resolution 25001, approving amendment to the power contract between TVA and the City of Decatur.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Glenn Bowles, Decatur Utilities. This first request, we brought a flexibility agreement to you about 4 years ago for approval. This is a request to amend that agreement, providing DU the opportunity to participate with other local TVA distributors in a aggregated project. This agreement provides the opportunity for DU or Decatur Utilities to supply or produce its own power up to 5% of the total system energy needs. And this amended agreement allows some expanded opportunity for us to participate in a project like this.
So moved. Motion by Mr. Pepper. Second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call. Resolution 25001 is approved 5-0. Resolution 25002 approving amendment to contract TV 48555A between TVA and the City of Decatur.
So this is a request to add a new rate schedule to the power contract. The rate schedule is TDGSA. This is for customers with a load between 1 and 5 megawatts. This rate provides some on-peak, off-peak hours in the rates and provides customers an opportunity, if they can shift load to off-peak hours, to provide some savings on their power bill.
So moved. Second. Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. And this is intended for, you said, small industry, let's wait.
Smaller industry, yes, sir.
Just for clarity's sake, just to say it out loud, this impacts no household rate at all?
No.
I mean, I just wanted you to say that
No,
out
sir.
loud.
No, it doesn't impact any type of residential or household rates at all.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Gladden.
Aye.
Height. Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster's.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye. Resolution 25002 is approved 5-0. Resolution 25003, approve a supplement to the power contract with TVA to remove electric rate schedule TDMSA.
So this is just a cleanup of our power contract with TVA. We've had this rate out there, TDMSA, for about 10 years now, and we have no customers on this rate or no interest from any customers to be on this rate, so we're just removing this rate from the power contract.
So moved. Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion?
Again, just for clarity's sake, does not impact household?
It does not, no, sir.
Again, I just want to get that out there. Lance.
Sure, yes, sir.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
Gladden.
Aye.
Height. Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster's.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye. Resolution 25003 is approved 5-0. Resolution 25004, approve reclassifying job classification for communications specialist to communications manager.
Rochelle Sandlin, Human Resources Department. This is just a recommendation to upgrade this position to a manager role. What we're looking for is someone with the skills, training, experience, and maturity to lead the communication initiatives of the city. Much of what you heard earlier is actually in the job description. There was a question asked about the salary range. I'll point out that the average market for our area for the skills that we're looking for starts at $85,000 a year. I think it's important that we modify the pay grade classification so that we can attract that talent that we're looking for. We'll also mention that the average compensation of someone with this experience in our area is $100,000 a year.
So moved. Second. Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion?
And just as I said last week, the low end increase on this is $7,000 roughly. High end is roughly $11,000. You know, I guess maybe over time I'm somewhat skeptical, where it almost appears that sometimes when we make moves like this, and I'm not saying it's necessarily the case this time, might be, might not be, but that we have someone specifically in mind and something has been discussed. I'm not saying that's the case. So I won't support this today because I do think that the range that we had was a fair range for what we were trying to get, and so I won't support this tonight.
All right, any other discussion? I'll just say I think we've struggled with communication as a whole, and I think we've got to have somebody in that role. And I think across the board, having somebody that can really consolidate and man all communication from all parts of the city, I think it's an important role, and we do see that in other cities they have this role, and it does take a lot to get the person of this type of person we're looking for. So I will support it.
Let me say this. I agree with you completely that communication has been lacking, to say the least. But I do think that, let me back up just 1 second. When we had a vacancy for a city clerk's position, which might be one of the most important jobs that we got in this entire city. We had at least one of us on the dais suggested that we do in-house interviews, look at people in-house, and I think that, yeah, we might need someone who can communicate, but I do think that we might have that person in-house already. So I just, I don't agree that going out and spending this sort of money and especially increasing it to this level is going to be beneficial for us. Or it will be beneficial, but it won't be necessarily the sole answer that we are looking for.
If we do have that person, I would just say on the live stream, I hope you apply, because that would be good. I've already got a leg up. All right, any other discussion? All right, roll call. Aye.
Aye. Jackson.
No.
McMaster's. Pepper.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution 25004 through 41. Resolution 25005, approved street engineering department motor grader.
Yeah, Carl Pruitt, city engineer. Our current motor grader has become unreliable, and we're requesting to purchase a new one and trade in our old one and to be funded through our alley fund.
So moved. Second. Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Glass.
Aye.
Pike. Jackson.
Aye.
McMasters. Pepper.
Resolution 25005 approved. 5-0. Resolution 25006 award bid for Wilson Morgan Investigation Center project for construction.
Good evening, Jeremy Sherrill with Procurement. This is the Wilson Morgan Rec Center bid, and I've submitted to you the bid tab. The bid opening was held on Tuesday, December 17 at 2 p.m. We received 4 responses, and along with our construction management firm and FIGHT, we are recommending Hoare Construction as the lowest responsible bidder.
So moved. Second. Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion?
I have not supported this project from the beginning, so I won't support it tonight.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
Glass.
Aye.
Pike. Jackson.
No.
McMasters. Pepper.
Aye. Resolution 25006 is approved 4-1. Is there anything else from directors, Jason?
I was speaking to Mr. Faruqi, and I wanted to clarify something we were talking about. For the rec center, and this goes with anything that we're doing, but for the rec center, there are many groups that use the rec center. And so we've had meetings with folks for a couple of years now. Some of them are swim team folks who have been very helpful. Decatur City Schools, the folks that already do programming with us. We got information from many, many, many people. And I know that can be confusing because there are so many groups that are involved with our centers and will be the users of this center. But we have went through, we actually had meetings today, again, about the dog park and what we're going to do with it. There's things about the playground that we're still going to do public meetings about. We're also going to do public meetings in the next couple of months about Flint Park and try to get some ideas on a master plan to redo Flint Park and at least start moving in the direction with it. But I do want everybody to know that if you do have opinions about what you want somewhere, if it's at a local park or if it's at a rec center or whatever it is, we want it to be what everybody wants it to be. The best thing we can build is what everybody loves. So we want to hear from you. We met with some folks today that I think were a little nervous to have the conversation when we were having it. Don't be, because I promise you, look, we're not any smarter than anybody else. We just want good information from everybody to do what everybody wants us to do. So anyway.
Thanks, Jason. All right, we'll move into our public comment section. Try to go in order here. We will let everybody. All right, guys, go ahead and get started. Andrea Hoffmeyer-Wilson is first.
Okay, so what I'd like to discuss as briefly as I can. First of all, y'all might be surprised to know that when I saw the front page of the paper a few weeks ago, I was very surprised to see that I was in violent agreement with Tab Bowling, which I'm sad that he's gone. But I'd like to talk about the job description for the communications manager. I believe that it's missing some competencies for a city facing multiple crises, which we are. This is too much for 3 minutes or even 30 minutes, so this is a big discussion, and I think that we need to pull people in to have a discussion about this. What I think is missing partly is somebody with the competencies for risk management, and there should be a lot of folks out there who have that competency, because this is an industrial area, so FMEA is a very common tool. Even so, these published responsibilities as they are will take that of 3 wise men. See what I did today? It's the epiphany, why it's 3, or women. So it's actually bigger than a single professional. They need a team or external resources to actually manage, to be a communications manager. And the thing is that we actually are paying Sage Communications $200,000. So we could consider repurposing that storytelling campaign to supporting this new hire so they can actually do what they're supposed to do. I also believe that the salary, when we start the search, we're going to find that it's not enough for what is expected of the person. While I've hired professionals and teams for more decades than I'd like to say, y'all will be pleased to know that I do not qualify because I do not have a driver's license. But seriously, folks, this hire is a big deal, and we need to be sure that we have the job description right for where we are now. So if there's not time for questions or discussion right now, I would encourage and welcome discussion about the job description and the strategies and the tactics behind it with any interested parties at any time. So that's what I had to say about that. I'm in line with what you're saying about the compensation. And then the other thing that I'd like to mention is that I've looked up the specs on the case equipment on item E, and I talked to some of the folks at Case, and I'm really excited to share that. Did you know that that new piece of equipment is capable of installing permeable pathways, bike and walking lanes? And so all it would cost us, now that we're buying it, is the tiny crusher, the ADA compliant crusher run. So yay, sidewalks and bike lanes. Thank you.
Justin.
How are y'all this evening? The big reason why I wanted to speak today was over the last few weeks, we've had a rash of shootings, specifically over where I live near Decatur Middle School. Someone at 3 o'clock in the morning decided they were going to shoot, I guess, at someone's house or just driving through 20 times at 3 in the morning. I don't know who's up at 3 in the morning, just decides, hey, let's go for a drive and start shooting. But I guess that's the theme here. But not only that, but here, within a week of the new year, we've had already an armed robbery on Central Parkway, and we've already had a shooting just down the road here on 4th Avenue. This community needs to step up and figure out how do we stop these shootings from occurring. Because, those stray bullets, they can go into somebody's house and hit them while they're watching TV or, God forbid, hit a child. I'm hoping this board and the city can work with multiple agencies like school systems, the police department, and other state officials to work towards finding solutions to these shootings.
Thanks, Justin. Next on my list is Stephen Hampton.
I came in about 2 weeks ago. I need to see what y'all gonna do about the high-speed chases.
What's your question? What are we going to do about the high-speed chases?
Exactly.
I'm assuming you mean people that are running from the police.
Running from the police.
I mean, if people would
How you know the police?
If people would stop running from the police, we wouldn't have that problem.
You lost.
That's my suggestion.
You lost. I had a car that was stolen. And
Did they run from the police in front?
did they run from the police in my car?
Yes.
What you think?
I would assume so.
Huh?
I would assume so.
Okay. So
If they would stop, we wouldn't have that problem.
how they gonna stop?
Yeah, so I mean, I just...
The time off, right?
That's my suggestion.
But you need to finish your comment.
The time off, right?
You can continue, yes.
Okay. Now, what we gonna do about the grass cutting situation? With y'all property?
Yeah, we hire people to do that. They
hire who?
Contractors to do that. So we do some in-house, but it's mostly hired out, and they cut the right of way.
For all your houses, your property. Because I mean, on my property, I'm on the northwest side. 217 6th Avenue, 215, which is next to me. Y'all putting a sign in 213's yard, But 215 is y'all property. Y'all ain't putting nothing on it. And I've been cutting it ever since I've been there. So should I get paid?
We do have a program.
No, ain't no program. I'm talking about me cutting it.
And that's what I'm talking about.
And I've been cutting it ever since I've been there.
Check on that address.
8 years.
We'll check on that address.
That's a lot of money you owe me. Yes, sir. And back to your thing with the police chase. I told the man I had the fob in my car. If they would have shut that car off, we wouldn't have had the problem with my car towed up or nothing. Why you want to run your mouth up there? You wasn't over there. And I'm talking to you, Hunter Pepper. Whatever the fuck your name is.
Hey, don't do it again.
Huh? That's the end of it.
No.
No, he talking stuff he don't know what he's talking about. I got it on video.
That's great.
So while you want to talk down on everything that's going on, you don't know nothing what's going on over there.
So that's not talking down, that's creating a solution. If people
You ain't
stop
creating
bringing
nothing.
the police, we wouldn't have this problem. So let
Number
me
one.
ask you something. So you're telling me you didn't want the police to come and grab the guy that stole your car?
What?
You didn't want them to chase the guy that stole your car?
No, if I sit there and told you I had the fob in my pocket, why chase it?
They don't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Eventually on the cover.
Eventually they'll get one, right? Is that what you're saying?
Eventually they would have ran out of gas. Or they shut it off. You understand what I'm saying?
That don't make no sense.
It don't.
No, they just don't. You don't let criminals get away.
What?
You don't let criminals get away.
And I told
You have the opportunity to stop them, let them stop you.
And I told Can I finish what I'm saying? Eventually, they would have been called guards. You understand? If they shut the car off, it would have been stopped. Right there and there. So you agree with high speed chasing with teenagers? It was 3 of them.
Absolutely.
You agree with it?
Absolutely.
Well, if you had kids and it was 13, 14, 17, if you had kids, you expect the police to chase them and damn near kill them too.
All right, we're done.
Absolutely.
You didn't realize how peaceful it was when we was at
Alvin.
here. You can go back to.
And I'm not done still.
You are. You think your time limit.
No, because most of the time went to him.
No, sir. You've got to sit down, Alvin. You're next.
But it's you the only one talking these meetings.
Sir, please, we got to move on.
It's you the only one that talking these meetings. That's what I want to know. You ain't the only one up there.
I need you to take a seat, please.
So, Billy Jackson, what you think about this with this?
I'll speak. Okay, so.
What you think about going
I've already said that publicly, what my position is on that, so.
I need to get paid.
Yeah, I just, like this, it was so much better when that seat was empty, like with him not being in the room. But we knew he was coming today because he put it on Facebook, off from his fake page, that he'd be here when he left, when he finished the shift. You see, he got his jacket on today.
I went to Cracker Barrel today, the mall. Today. I don't work in Alabama anymore. So.
What you doing here?
Guys,
I work here at the city of Decatur. I don't work in Alabama EMS anymore.
I just wanted to, you know, yeah.
Appreciate it. All right, control of Perkins. Billy Kennedy. Sarah French.
Okay, about the new communication specialist, we wouldn't have to pay someone so much money to communicate if things weren't being hid. Our leaders should do so and be factual and transparent, and we wouldn't have to pay top dollar for someone to communicate for them. As the investigative report is done on our police department, I want you, Jacob and Billy and Herman, to know that I am praying for you daily as you take the task on to go through the report thoroughly. I have no doubt or worries on what the report shows. We knew week one policies and procedures are not being followed in our police department. We have policies and procedures in place, but the problem is they don't get followed under current leadership. You three will be in my thoughts and prayers as you take the responsibility of taking this report and putting change into action for our city. I'm sure it will be a lot of hard decisions, and I trust and I'm looking forward to the fact that we will finally get some accountability for what has happened in the past 16 months. And if you are pleased with how this company did with their report, I highly suggest we do reports on our fire department and our city offices, as both of them have also shown major issues in those departments. Justice for Steve Perkins.
I just wanted to quickly say, with it being a new year, to always make sure that we remember that on September 29th, 2023, Steve Perkins, an innocent man, was killed by the Decatur Police Department while minding his business on his own property. The officers involved entered on his property without their lights, sirens, or announcing themselves, violating the sanctity of his home and his basic human and constitutional rights. This tragedy has exposed a deeply troubling reality about public safety in Decatur and has triggered a domino effect of incidents. In the months following Steve's death, we've witnessed one public safety failure after another. Veterans like Justin have not been protected or respected. The disabled and our special needs community have been left vulnerable. Women have been sexually assaulted by a predator that still hasn't been found. Children, like the young boy who was hit on Sandlin Road, was left fighting for his life. And now our animals are being neglected. These all have become symbols of misplaced priorities and leadership negligence. Steve's death has been a catalyst for us to see how poorly civilians are protected in this city. The ongoing disregard for human rights speaks to a greater systematic issue that continues to affect everyone in this community. I watched the council meeting, and McMasters, you said that you met with Ty Pena multiple times in a week. Can you share, especially if it's community related, what you all are discussing?
It depends on the week or what's happened. Over the last 16 months, there's been very many different topics.
Have you noticed the public safety crisis in your district?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a crisis.
It's a crisis. Have you talked to him about a possible, maybe director of public safety? Recommendations? Do you give him recommendations, or do y'all sit in there and just play with each?
I mean, a lot of times it's me asking questions to better understand. This is what it is a lot of times.
When you go over this report, if you find information that is very damning to this city, the civilians of this city, would you call for his resignation, or are you going to go to his office and?
If there is something in that report that is nefarious and awful and everything, then yeah. But on the flip side, what if there's not?
Well, let me tell you this. Saturday, Steve's birthday, a guy that I know grew up with 3 doors down from me, 14 or 15 officers came out of the alley with AKs and held him hostage for 30 minutes looking for a suspect that was not even in the area. They gave him all type of excuses and lies. They did not announce themselves. They did not have sirens on. They set up a perimeter outside his house and down the street. They had saw him the whole time he was outside of in his yard. They knew he was not a suspect, and they did that to him anyway. So do you think that's okay for them to come on our property and invade our property like that? And I'm telling, this literally just happened. No report. This just happened.
Without knowing the circumstances?
I just told you the circumstances. Why would I lie? We've been telling you the circumstances for a year and a half. We're not lying. Y'all paid almost $500,000 to find out what we've been telling y'all. We're not lying.
It won't happen.
Mr. Jackson, I do have a question. Have we ever had a safety director for oversight or maybe to help with the police department?
We've had a safety director, not in that capacity that I'm aware of. Not in that capacity, but let me.
We have not.
We've had a safety director. Director of safety, just not in the capacity that she's speaking to. Now, as far as the situation that you're talking about on Saturday night, when I saw what I saw, the film footage that was presented to me, the discussion about what actually happened there was completely disturbing to me, completely. I'll be clear. It was a situation where it was as if we have not learned from our past mistakes. And that, I think that was the thing that was most bothersome to me about the entire incident, was that we have not truly learned from our past mistakes, and that we've got a long way to go before I think that many of our citizens can feel comfortable with where we are with our police work. And let me say this too, and I've always said this, that I do believe, and people will disagree with me, and we've had debates about this, but I do believe that the vast majority of our police officers are good police officers. I do believe that our training needs to be better. I do think that we have an issue with following policies and procedures, but I do think that the vast majority of our police officers are good officers who want to do good for the city. So I can't say that strongly enough.
Do you think that we would benefit with a public safety director to be like the liaison for the police department, for the fire department, all of our safety departments, to where they can help facilitate better safety measures when it comes to the communities, especially when we have a police chief who is incompetent and has no authority?
I think that as far as having someone to oversee our safety measures, I think that our safety measures are in place already. I think that we have not necessarily followed them the way that, and I'm sure that other cities have deficiencies as well, but I don't think that we followed our safety protocols as we should have. So to put a person in that position, I don't know that solves anything. I think that what solves it is having the right people in the positions now. So that's what I think.
Okay, thank you.
Mike, Snowball.
Excuse me. I'm not going to be long before you today, but I just didn't understand something that the mayor did, and I just want to put it on record. Protesters were down at his house on last week. He sent 6 to 7 police cars over there. Why would you use, and for how many protesters was it? 4 to 5? Why would you need that many police cars? So what I'm feeling like that we're doing is we're using resources that shouldn't be used. Now we have a rapist out here that's breaking in people's houses, that are, raping women and all this kind of stuff. But we have all our police department on Line Street. Then they gathered out here in this area as a big blue gang afterwards. And my thing is, why they're not looking for this rapist? And the description that they given us for this rapist was so crazy. It could be any black man in this room and could be targeted as the rapist, but why they're not getting in the room and trying to narrow this down? And the thing is, I just don't see how Tab Bolden could use his resources like that. And the high-speed chase, Hunter, we have not learned our lesson from it. And it's sad, because we should have learned our lesson from Jaden's situation. But,
these cops are running through this city like never before, and somebody's going to get hurt. An innocent person's going to get killed the way that they're running during broad daylight, during the busy hours of the day, chasing people. Because people are not going to stop for the police anymore because they're afraid. And that lets us know that we have public safety issues. The issue that happened with the dog, that's all up under the police department. That's public safety. And since we haven't dealt with public safety in the beginning of last year or whenever Steve got killed, it's trickling down to your families too. We have to deal with public safety because we don't feel safe in the city of Decatur. Thank you.
Happy Festivus to us all. This will be the year of grievances, and so let us begin now. First off, for all of the city employees, members of council, our police department, there is a duty to obey a lawful order. There is also a duty to disobey an unlawful order. So if you are asked to do things which do not fall within your purview, procedures, etc., it is your duty to not do them. So not creating more harm would be a good thing in the future. How many of you read the 1977 report that came out of the LEAA? That's the Facebook link that I sent y'all.
If you want to email it to me, that's fine. I'm just not going to get into Facebook documents.
Okay. Well, that report, I'll just summarize. Decatur's mayor, that's your grandpa, and city council proactively requested back in '77 a report from DOJ. It's a 21-page report. I don't know what we're going to get out of Green. Back then, our city was 33% smaller. The department was 50% smaller. The number of officers per 1,000 citizens was 1.94 compared to today at 2.25 or to 2.28, depending on which stat you want to use, Mr. McMasters. The per capita cost of police services was $28.45 per person, and that would be in today's money at $148.22, so a significant amount, but we're actually paying today $344.82 for that same service. The crime rate back then was 22.82 per 1,000 people. Compared to today, it's between 153 and 273, depending on which source you look at. The report back then cited quite a few recommendations, and some of them were enacted, I guess. One was officer promotions were based then 50% from a promotion board, 50% on an oral interview with the police chief. And this process, as the as DOJ summed it up, creates a system of cronyism. So the question in the report will be, is that still in existence today? Attrition rate for young officers back then was 25%, and that rate is not sustainable in any professional organization. Decimation literally occurs at 10%. The report recommends the creation of a viable community relations program. Interestingly, Chief Pinion cites that in his comprehensive plan, but we still don't know what the MOE is for that and where we are in that plan. The report recommends improved delegation of authority, which is a cornerstone of any professional organization. Delegation of authority is a time-honored principle, but it is based on trust from leader to led and quality training provided by leaders. I do not believe we have that currently within our department. The report recommends a transition from policies of strict but fair enforcement to greater service and assistance focus. This is the heart of any community-based policing, where protection and services are the priority rather than chasing down minors and vehicles directly resulting in death, or backing up private businesses in the conduct of shady repossessions, also directly resulting in death. The cure is good policy known and enforced by all of leadership. Proactive policing is recommended instead of reactive attempts at correcting problems. DPD's failure to immediately demand the lead vehicles blocking the bridge, for example, created the dangerous public safety situation, not the protesters. The police chief's reactive nature in assigning an investigator and intelligence specialist to track social media content and city council meetings in hopes of nabbing those wanting to express their First Amendment rights is an example of poor decision-making and possibly illegal intelligence collection. Had the officers on scene been empowered to walk up the bridge, to address the lead vehicles, and cite them as appropriate, a lot of time and effort resources may have been saved.
The report further recognizes a reduction in specialization among officers serving in the department. Rationalization at that point was that too much specialization in investigative functions bleeds resources from base competency like patrolling, like looking over. Well, Jacob, you haven't read this.
You're right, I haven't.
So I'm trying to inform you.
You can email it to me, but you hit 4 minutes.
I've got like one paragraph left.
Read it quickly.
I will. A better use of resources suggested developing a training program for officers to cope with all the problems they are likely to see within the community. The report further highlights problems of little communication during internal staff meetings, poor planning, and failures to look at systematic crime information analytically with proper management tools. Simple things like, hey, the 4th of July is coming up, or New Year's Day, maybe we need to do something about that for our enforcement of our animals. The good news is that the much-needed guidance might be provided. Unfortunately, 6 months later, in May of 1978, Tommy Lee Hines was arrested under dubious circumstances, and justice was not served. So it's on y'all to take a look at that report
Now,
with a jaundiced eye.
let's be clear. I read the report.
Good.
I read the report. So, I mean, again, a lot of the things I agree with you on, a lot of them just, they don't add up. And we can talk after the meeting.
It's not my report.
Yeah, well, I mean, the things that you're stating, the 30%, we were 30% smaller. You talked about the per capita, the rate per capita for police officers, transportation, all of those things factored into that at that particular time. So again, there are so many variables that we could add into that, take away from that. I don't think you're always comparing apples to apples when, you know, we're just looking at basic numbers. The inflation factor is a part of that. So, and you did cite inflation in some of those things. So I don't know that, again, that all of the factors, just because there was a study done in 1977 and one done in 2024, that there's going to be a real parallel there. I just don't. So, you know, I think that, yeah, we can take some of those factors and consider those, but things have changed so much, and like I said, you could add variables in, take variables away, and you're not just going to be dealing with apples to apples.
Okay, and I would offer that the lessons learned from that report will apply to not only the time frame between that report and current day, but also could be looked at in terms of how the future of the city takes the information that comes from the Green Report and goes forward. That's the intent behind it.
I don't disagree with that at all. I don't disagree with that.
Okay, thank you.
Justin. Sierra.
Hey, so we've obviously got like a lot of problems in different departments. We see that. There's the animal shelter letting people's pets die. We've got the fire department with sexual harassment and multiple other things, but only demoting the firefighter that spoke up to stand up for Steve, or in support for Steve. The police department is a whole mess all by itself, just like it's just bad. So, I mean, obviously we need to come up with some kind of plan to get all the city, like the prosecutor here in the city, you know, she's got personal issues against the protesters, and she shouldn't even be allowed on these cases. Mine specifically, because she was in support of Jack Brown on Facebook publicly. She's still prosecuting my case. I mean, you know, we've got lots of things going on in the city that really needs to be addressed. I don't feel like anything's getting done at all. Like, there's nothing being done. So do you guys have any kind of ideas of how to try to get any of these people kind of in some sort of...
Well, I just want to be clear. Everything you mentioned, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. I'll take responsibility where it's mine. I think I've done that.
Yeah.
If those are the mayor's responsibility, and let me finish. When that doesn't happen, I do think we have a responsibility to step in some of those situations, which is what we've done with the report that we will be briefed on Thursday. So that is very difficult, just frankly, we are part-time. I know people want to get on me for saying that, but we are, it's a fact.
Right.
We have other jobs, we have other responsibilities. That's just the way this role is structured. It is very difficult for us to dive in to a 600-employee, major, big operation that's all over the city doing different work, and every department. That should not be our role. The city does not function well, and the council has to do that. The proper role is that the mayor is the CEO and makes those adjustments, fixes things that aren't going well, makes things more efficient, makes personnel changes, all those type of things.
And he's not doing his job.
We are where we are, and so we do try to step in where we can, and that's all I can give you. But I think it's important for people to understand the structure of the city. It is not for the council to get in the day-to-day operations. That is not our role, and it does not. And I said that. I said when there's a void, we do, and we have. And we'll have to continue to do that. But to look at every situation you just named, or some of them I don't even know about, I'll have to ask you about later. That's just, we have other jobs. I mean, I worked all day today.
So it's hard for y'all to do the mayor's job, is what you're saying?
It's not our job.
Right.
So, but we do have to step in some ways to do it, and I think we have, and we'll continue to do that. But it's not the right or best solution.
Okay, so as far as the third-party review, I'm confident in the fact, because we know our stories that we've been telling you is true, and we know there's other things this police department's doing that doesn't involve us. I can only imagine what they're doing to other people. So when it comes out that this police department has been doing these things, and it has been, I mean, it's dangerous. They're doing dangerous things. Are you guys going to get rid of Todd Pinion then?
I think, I'll just say this, I need to see the report.
Or do you need to see multiple people dead?
No, I need to see the report. Here's look, we're going to have this conversation. I know what Adisa said, and a lot of what you said is true, okay? There have been things told to me that were not true, okay? From saying things happened in certain situations that weren't. And then there have been proven under oath that things were true that are very disturbing. That's the whole purpose of this report, is that I can now get a third party. I'm getting noise from all angles. And some of it's true and some of it's not here, and some of it's true and some of it's not here. We're going to have a comprehensive look. We're going to be able to trust that fully. I'm not saying I don't trust you guys. A lot of you have told me things that are true.
Yeah, we usually got video proof.
But sometimes it's not, okay?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've been...
Oh, I don't doubt it. I know that there's some that speak.
Okay, so that's where that's what we need, and that's what we do. Okay.
Okay. My next thing is it's still continuing with that, really. It's they're still pulling guns on people. They're still chasing children that could have easily used a key fob to cut it off. Just like Jaden could have just went to his address instead of chasing him to his death. Multiple things that's still happening, and I feel like until Todd's gone, that's not changing. Until Tab's gone, the city's not healing. We gave Tab the opportunity that he wanted. He wanted us to leave him alone. He wanted us to stay out from in front of his house, not mention him. You noticed the council meetings died down. The protesting died down. We gave Tab that chance. He lied and did not resign. So we're back, full force. We were not going nowhere. I think your comment about the chases was completely ignorant. If there's another solution that could save a life, why would you not choose that solution?
So give me a solution.
The key fob?
So let me ask you something.
Simple.
So say, for instance, the person that stole this car is a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't committed no murder. Is a murderer. He comes to your house.
He's getting killed at my house.
And he comes to your house.
He's going to get murdered at my house.
That's not the point. No, that's not the point. The point is you have no clue what his intentions are.
That's not the situation, Hunter.
Hey, I got a question. Hey, Hunter.
Their job is to protect you and protect us.
They're not protecting anyone, bro.
Unfortunately, police departments all across the U.S. are short. They're short.
I will tell y'all this. While we're on Hunter's ignorance, I would like to say that Hunter Pepper's.
The fact of the matter is people like yourself come up here and you degrade the ones that you call.
I don't call no. I promise you ain't gonna keep no record where I've called no police. I don't trust them. All right. Okay. So, anyways, while we're on the subject of his ignorance, I would like to say that his brother is a phenomenal officer. I would like to say that. I would like to make that clear.
I'll back that
other than that, I can just say we're here for justice. And we want Tab and Hunter and Todd gone. And justice for Steve.
I know everybody's not a criminal that they chase. Hey, Billy, based on what you said.
Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, y'all. Hey, listen, come in here, and y'all, we still at the site. We at square one, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you know, you're elected officials. Have you sit down, man, and try to come to a consensus agreement? Have you ever tried common ground?
The mayor should have been gone.
I mean, and then not only is we are in the same place, but y'all still saying the same thing. You got the same attitude, the same demeanor. Listen to me, y'all, and then listen to me. Here's what I want to tell you about the communication. Okay, the communication guy, Tab, appoints him. Well, you lead the people's comment. So what do you know about communication? How do you know what we need? How do you know what you need? He's not even here. And the guy who he hired, he's not here. Where he at? So now how you gonna know, how you gonna help the people? How are you gonna, I'm just being real.
We don't have the guy, that's the point of what we got.
What is, he had one guy he got from Mars or somewhere. Okay, got it. Okay. I got you. Now, here's the deal. Here's my opinion. One guy ain't gonna be able to do this. You're gonna have to go get Martov. You got a diverse unit. You're gonna have to get a diverse unit. Period. Black, white, Hispanic. You have to go get them, man. And then you definitely gonna have to get more blacks because it happens to more blacks. And you're gonna have to go in the hood. You might have to go get Ray Ray because they pull him over all the time. He can tell you what's going on. You're gonna have to, listen to me, y'all. You're gonna have to you can't do this business as usual. You're gonna have to go get outside the box. All right, yeah, you have to pull your sleeves up because listen to me. In a few more months, it's something gonna happen in this city. Are you ready? Have y'all sat down and talked about this? About the verdict?
They don't know.
Have you said, hey y'all, if listen to me, y'all.
Proactive.
Y'all, you just acting like it's just gonna, y'all, it's not gonna be that way. And then here's the thing. I'm finna sit down. Here's the thing. The people that come here, we may not even know them.
Tracy Jones.
I'll be in the house.
But I know another lot was lost to negligence, then the city will burn.
Good evening. I'm not a big fan of public speaking. I'm not good at it, but when it comes to animals, I have to. So, but bad things keep happening. People are getting fed up. Knowing what happened to Sophia the other evening is just despicable. It could have been prevented. Exceptions could have been made. And city taxpayers are paying a city vet doctor to take care of animals. And God only knows how many animals have suffered the same fate. And by luck, well, I don't even know if that's the appropriate term to use, but by chance, it happened to somebody that it never should have happened to. A beloved dog, family member. So, you know, it's just, it's awful to know that this happened. This dog could have been saved. The mother was, the owner was out there willing to do whatever it took. And instead, a city vet decided to give his medical advice on a phone call. So So it's just, it puts Decatur in a bad way. It really does. And of course, you know, I have to say this, but my heart goes out to the Perkins family and friends for what has happened to him as well, and his children. So anyway, I hope that is there an investigation being done on at the shelter and on Dr. Osborne.
I think the department put out a statement that they were looking into that situation. We can't really speak a lot. There's been an attorney hired on that specific situation, but from what I saw in the statement, it was like they were looking at that particular policy. So that's
what statement?
So I'll add to that. So some people may not be willing to speak too much on the situation because the family has retained an attorney.
And I completely understand.
Completely agreed.
Yeah.
However, I have not seen anything regarding a lawsuit yet, so I'll gladly speak on the matter.
Well, Mr. President, you've stated it correctly.
There has not been a lawsuit filed.
Well, I am sharing with you.
That does not mean
it is not proper for you to discuss that.
That's bull. That's not right. That is not right. We are not.
If you can't listen to your attorney, we're going to just.
We are not being sued yet, so no, I can absolutely speak on it. Because I want to speak on a matter of what's been wrong. Because no, they've been done wrong, and so I have the right to speak on that matter. They're citizens in my district.
Here's what you don't want to do.
It does not matter. They are here tonight.
I understand.
They are here to approach. Tracy is here to approach us to ask us.
And if you don't quit, you're going to prevent the other people that are here to speak on that item.
Because we're going to speak on politics.
I do not have that ability.
Let them go. Because we're not going to speak on politics.
Yeah, that's fine.
Miss Howard.
That is so unfair.
I can't throw him off the dais.
Come on, let him get himself in a world of trouble.
Let me get him out of here.
He did a whole like he did last time.
Guys, goes to Miss Howard.
Hi. Sophia was my dog. I want to just say, first of all, it feels insensitive to not say that if Steve Perkins' case is any indication of what I will face in any sort of capacity, I'm terrified for the future and what this will look like. I don't want to be sitting here in 16 months speaking on the same things. I just wanted to comment on, it doesn't matter what you want to call this communications director, staffing member, manager. The problem is a lack of transparency. I got out from behind my desk and I went to speak to Brian Lundberg face to face after this happened, before I made any sort of comment, post, retained an attorney. And he would not even come out from behind his desk. He sent sticky notes via his receptionist to send to me. Next, I went to Dr. Stephen Osborne, also for a face-to-face conversation. This conversation, luckily, is on record, and you will be interested to hear the things that your city-hired vet had to say. I'm familiar with him. I'm familiar with Tab. They are both familiar with Sophia. They've been familiar with her as long as I've known the both of them. And to say that I'm disgusted, I'm appalled, I'm hurt. The Decatur Animal Shelter's website posts, the DAS manager has an open door policy. If you have any questions, comments, or observations, they are appreciated. All that was done in my case was a false statement posted. Our statistics can be provided upon request. Today, I was informed about 2 hours before this meeting that my requests were going to be denied. Despite the goose chase that I was sent on, I went to the 6th floor to Mr. Mark's office. I went to the 1st floor. I filed a request with the city clerk, and you leave us no choice but to retain an attorney. I don't know what else to do. I was frankly left no options and no choices, and I hope that whoever this person is will honor their transparency policy. Also, I wanted to note the number one frequently asked question What should I do if I have a health concern about an animal? If you think it is potentially life-threatening, inform a DAS staff immediately, even if non-life-threatening. And that's just a direct quotation from your website, of which I have 57 more that I could share, but my time is limited. So I would appreciate any and all help in this matter, because I never want to see this happen to any person, any animal, and any family. Thank you.
Anything else from council? All right, we'll stand adjourned. Thanks.
Somebody boo this man.
Tomato, tomato, tomato.